Good morning! I'm Nora, the lead naturalist guide with the Mono Lake Committee, and I'm here today in the sagebrush next to the lake to bring you a Mono Lake moment about IDing desert plants. Thank you for staying home and joining me virtually instead of in person as we continue to protect our community from coronavirus. And this has just been a really fun way to share the basin with you, so thank you so much for joining me today. So I'm going to start out just by, I'll flip the camera, I'll be talking, but you won't be able to see me because there's some really amazing plants right around me for you all to see. So let me show you what I'm looking at. It's really beautiful, these Sierra mountains, melting snow, but also this incredible sagebrush. And so a lot of times when you look around and see sagebrush, you think there's probably not much else there. But if you look really closely, you'll begin to find lots of beautiful gems within the sagebrush. You can see Paoha Island and Nedget. This is a gorgeous spot. So, well, we do have our kind of normal sagebrush and bitterbrush. We also have beautiful shrubs like this desert peach. Desert peach blooms in the spring. So right now in May we have all these gorgeous pink flowers. Desert peach, Prunus andersonii, is in the rose family. And a lot of times you can tell rose plants by counting their petals. All the plants in the rose family have 5-petaled flowers with lots of stamens, which are the little yellow bits you can see in the middle there. Let me see if I can get that to focus. Yep. And they also have these big spikes and silvery smooth bark. Later on, desert peach will form fruit, and they look like little fuzzy peaches. So that's a desert peach, and that's, right in here next to a sagebrush, about the same height, just a meter tall, a couple of feet tall. It's one of the beautiful shrubs we see blooming in the Mono Basin this time of year. And so, let's see, down on the ground here, right next to me, it looks like it's bare dirt until you get nice and close. It's my favorite thing about desert flowers is a lot of time you have to get down on your hands and knees to be able to see the gems. So this is a tiny little skunky monkey flower, Diplaucus mephiticus. It's a very small, let's see if I can get my finger in there. That's about the size. They're about the size of my fingernail. Very small little purple flower with the yellow tongue. And they have fuzzy stems and they stick right out of this volcanic soil. This is a lot of pumice and obsidian. And it's all just ground into fine pieces. And yet this little monkey flower in the lopseed family can just pop right out of the ground with not a lot of water. It's pretty phenomenal. And as you can see, as I shift the camera a little bit, there are a ton of them in the soil here, just popping right out of nowhere. It's pretty amazing. So that's the skunky monkey flower. Let's go look for something else. And I'll be careful not to step on any of these monkey flowers because, like their name, they actually emit a foul-smelling odor that smells just like skunk if you step on them. So I'll just be really careful not to step. Oh, but we have some really gorgeous little clumps of them. So beautiful. There's just so much to find, and it's just so tiny. There's some pretty cool things happening around me too with the birds. So just across the road from me, perched on that bush right in the center there, whoop, just flew. That was a gray flycatcher. One of the many species that we see here in the sagebrush. There's also green-tailed towhees singing. We have a brown-headed cowbird, brewer sparrow. Okay, let's find another plant here. This is one of my favorites. The desert paintbrush, Castanea chromosa, for colorful. And boy, are these colorful. They glow, absolutely glow, especially on kind of an overcast day like this. This one, of course, has some other plant matter from last year that's all dried out, sticking out of it. I can see if I can find a better specimen here. Here's one. Bright red, once again sticking straight out of the cracks of rocks. And this one is surrounded by another plant, tiny another little plant called bicolored Phacelia, or two-color Phacelia. And this little guy, so tiny, purple with these yellow throats. So this is Phacelia bicolor. It's in the waterleaf family. There are a lot of different species of Phacelia that we see. I remember when I first moved to the Mono Basin, there had been a fire near Highway 395, and the entire regrowth area was just carpeted with these little purple yellow throats. It's a beautiful little flower. Once again, so tiny and hard to see. Another plant, this is a shrub. This is Antelope Bitterbrush. And this one's just starting to bloom. They have yellow flowers with 5 petals and many stamens, which means again that it's in the rose family. So this one's Persia tridentata. Deer love to forage on bitterbrush, and kangaroo rats will cache their seeds, and so you can find little piles of cached bitterbrush seeds all around the desert. Do you hear that? That is a sage thrasher singing. They have a really beautiful song. It just keeps going forever and ever. I think those may be my plant gems for the day, but all of those were just in maybe a 10-meter line of each other. So we have our Skunky monkey flower, our desert paintbrush, our desert peach, two-color Phacelia, our Antelope Bitterbrush, and I'm sure that if I dug around, well, not actually dug, but if I looked really closely underneath a sagebrush, I may be able to find some more little colorful gems in the midst of this desert landscape. So here is a sweet little view of almost all of the species we just saw. The monkey flower, desert peach, desert paintbrush, and the bitterbrush. There's probably a little Phacelia around here somewhere, but thanks for joining me today, and I hope that you can find some little plants right around your home and figure out what they are and enjoy the birds singing around you while you do.